The 2018 World Cup in Russia opens with the home team crashing Saudi Arabia 5-0. But can the organizational efforts of Russia as host also triumph this summer? Welcome back. You're still watching World Inside with me, Tian Wei. The program comes to you Monday to Friday on CGTN. In a pitch to host the 2018 World Cup 8 years ago, Russian President Vladimir Putin saw a celebration of football filled with passion and emotion. On Thursday, in a glittering opening ceremony before a worldwide audience of hundreds of millions, that promise turned out to be a spectacle. Take a look.
Kick-off time for Russia 2018. The opening FIFA World Cup match pitted the hosts against Saudi Arabia, the two lowest-ranked sides in the competition. Although Russia went into the match without a win in 7 outings, fans arriving at the official fan fest in Moscow remain confident.
Welcome, Russia.
I hope that Russia is win today. We're happy to be here. We're so excited. We're happy. Russia forever. Since today, I think we win the whole World Cup.
A heavy security presence greeted fans arriving at the venue. In the build-up, authorities promised unprecedented safety measures to curb fears over possible terrorist attacks, as well as the threat of hooliganism. If any Russian fans were nervous ahead of the game, those feelings were soon swept away. Yuri Godzinski scored the opener for Russia after just 12 minutes. By the time the final whistle sounded, the hosts had crushed Saudi Arabia 5-0. It was the biggest win by a host nation in the opening game of a World Cup since 1934.
It's a great day for all Russian people. It's a great day for our soccer, for our football. It's a great day for our team. Yes, and we will be in final. Yeah!
A lot of celebration over there. So what is the big buzz on the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia? In Moscow, we invited Viktor Olivich, who is the expert at the Center for Actual Politics. And also joining us in Milan, we have Gianni Marlo, who's a journalist of La Gazzetta. I hope I pronounced the organization right, and also president of AIP, the International Sports Press Association. Let me begin with you, Mr. Marlo. How do you think the world would remember 2018 World Cup in Russia? Is this going to be one of those most brilliant games in history, or this is going to be one of those most quiet games in history?
But we have to see, because the beginning it is
very
normal, because the enthusiasm every time.
I heard you. Go ahead, Mr. Marlo.
Sorry. Can I go, or
go?
I have to stop? I think that personally, this kind of big event will have a great success, exactly as the previous before, because there was a lot of polemics in the year before till the eve of the games, and after that now on the pitch are the players. People are forgetting the past, and now they are trying to feel the right part of the sport. The feeling of the people, because what is amazing is how so many people went to Russia to enjoy the game. And after, to open perhaps new bridge, because the sport is opening many times new bridge between the countries, and this is important.
All right, Mr. Olivich, the passion of soccer is rising, even from the very first match that you could notice already. But, I mean, 5-0, well, the Saudi guest is also there from, together with President Putin. That's really quite romantic.
Of course, it was a remarkable success for the Russian football team. It must be said that the Russian football team faces problems that are similar to the Chinese football team, that Russia invests a lot of resources into its sports program, into its football team, but at the same time the expectations from its football team are quite limited. And here we saw a first and opening match, the World Cup, with a 5-0 result, a result that excited Russians, but also it must be said that the World Cup, as my Italian colleague just remarked, is not just about sports. It's also about building bridges between countries. And in the current state of affairs, in the current international climate, when the West, when the United States and some of its partners are trying to apply pressure to Russia, when the United States and some of its Western partners are trying to portray Russia as an aggressive power that seeks to meddle in others' affairs, as a power that is not safe, and the people, there are millions, there are 2 million spectators, fans, that have come to Russia to see the World Cup.
Okay.
And all of these people, you can see them, in fact, if you go through Moscow today or tomorrow or the next day, you will see hundreds and thousands of Mexicans and Peruvians.
I would love to go there to see
France
all of them.
And England and
Mr.
Argentina.
Olivich, but
and
the question is,
and they all see the real Russia.
Yes,
they're
going to see. Let's see what they're going to see. Mr. Marlowe, before we... I have to cut you short, Mr. Olivich, because we need to also give the other guests some airtime. Mr. Marlowe, tell me, from your soccer's perspective, soccer expert, what is likely to be the moments, do you think, and the games, the specific matches you perceive that is likely to be recorded in history? What are some of the teams that we need to pay attention to, and what's going to be the spectacle this time out of all the games?
But till now, many people are speaking about Germany and Brazil. But I think that this time we have to focus also on France. France is very strong in this moment and is the dark horse that can also win at the end. And after, we have the enigma of Spain that has changed the manager just before this edition of the World Cup. And maybe that this is, instead to be a minus for Spain, will be a plus for Spain, because Spain has very good professionals, and also Hierro, the new coach, is an expert man that knows exactly his fellow, because he was a player not so far. And I think that we will see some surprise, because even as Russia yesterday scored 5 goals against, yes, Saudi Arabia, but it's not easy even for the team of Russia to begin in this way. And now his players are full of enthusiasm. But in the same time, there are other teams that can develop. And it is important to see after the first stage which team will have not their best champion a little bit tired, because the season was very long. For example, if we take some people from Spain or Ronaldo that will play tonight, I know he will be a hero. If he will bring Portugal near the final, but I don't know physically how he can do this.
We'll see, we'll see. But Mr. Olivich, what about you? What do you think? What could be some of the new stars that will come out, the new styles and the new ways, particularly given what has been happening over the past 3 to 4 years with soccer worldwide, Mr. Olivich?
Of course, there could be some surprises. We could see some surprises during this World Cup as far as who comes to the finish line first. And probably the favorites could be rated along the lines of Brazil. France can have high hopes. Maybe Spain, maybe, but with some question there. Possibly we could also look at Argentina.
How well do you think the Russian team, Mr. Olivich, will go? It seems that you sound very patriotic in your earlier answers. How long will Russia team?
Well, to be honest, the expectations for the Russian team were so low that the victory yesterday, which was really something to be proud of, 5-0 is something to be proud of in any case.
Okay.
This really provided some enthusiasm, a lot of enthusiasm for the Russian fans, but at the same time being pragmatic and understanding the strengths and weaknesses of our team.
All right.
It's probably, we should probably expect our team to get out of the group. So the Russian team plays in a group of Russia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay.
Yeah.
And today, of course, Uruguay defeated the Egyptian team. So we will see how Russia performs against the other teams in its group. Hopefully,
Okay.
the Russian team will get out of the group.
Oh, I hope. I heard a lot of Russian friends already celebrated last night with a lot of vodka. But for now, Mr. Marlow, what about the other countries? I mean, besides the teams that you've been talking about, the both of you, we have those coming from relatively weaker regions in terms of how they do in the history of the World Cup. It seems that the weaker one, quote unquote, in performance are still in the weak category. So there's not much change at all in the map of soccer. Is that a failure?
No, for now, yes, but I think that this is something that will change in the future, and because I think that in the next 8 years a lot of things will change in the worldwide football, or soccer as you want to call it, because it's true. For example, even in the Champions League, the big team are always the same, and are 4, 5 maximum. Sometimes somebody else is coming, so there is not new blood. But I think that this kind of competition, as the World Cup and the European Cup, the Continental Cup, will put on the stage some new champion, and the problem is how after will be distributed the money between all the teams, all the clubs and so on. I think that for now we are in the middle of the river, now when you have to cross the river. We are in the middle, and in the future I think that something will change, and will change especially if the World Cup will go with 48 teams. Somebody says that the level will be lower, but I think that in some way this new proposition can help other champions to come on the stage, on the proper stage, and after to find place in different clubs.
We already heard, of course, that Canada, U.S., and Mexico, they are already hosting the 2026 World Cup. It seems that there are a lot of opportunities for further change on the world map. Thank you so much for both of you for being with us. Victor Olivich coming from Russia and Gianni Marlo coming from Italy.
Thank you
so much. Let's have some great games to see during the weekend. Thank you. And that is all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more, try to find us World Insight CGTN into your search engine, or check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Sina Weibo. From me, Tian Wei, and everyone on the World Insight team, thanks for watching. Tune in again next time for insights across China and around the world. The weekend is coming up. Have a great one, everyone.